This video is part of a series on irregular present tense conjugations in Spanish. This particular video covers verbs with irregular jo forms, specifically verbs that end in G-U-I-R. This video also covers verbs that have spelling changes in the boot forms. If you're watching this video, you should already be familiar with regular and stem-changing verbs in the present indicative tense. This first category of verb ends in G-U-I-R. These verbs have irregular present tense jo forms. Let's look at two examples: distinguir and seguir. The first verb, distinguir, follows the regular conjugation rules in most forms. We have distingues, distingue, distinguimos, distinguís, distinguen. In the jo form, however, we need to make a small change in order to maintain the correct pronunciation. In the jo form, instead of ending in G-U-O, the verb ends simply in G-O. As a result, we have yo distingo. Seguir follows the same pattern while also having an E to I stem change in the boot forms. Yo sigo, tú sigues, él sigue, ella sigue, usted sigue. Nosotros seguimos, vosotros seguís, ellos siguen, ellas siguen, ustedes siguen. Note that these verbs are not considered go verbs, since the G is part of the stem, not the verb ending. While there are not too many verbs that end in G-U-I-R, here is a list of some common ones you should familiarize yourself with. Make flashcards. This next category may look the same as the last one, but it's not. This group of verbs ends in U-I-R, but they do not end in G-U-I-R. When I say these two endings, you can hear that they sound different. Gir and huir. Gir, huir. Since they have different pronunciations, they'll have different conjugation rules. For these huir verbs, we will insert a Y before the ending in the boot forms. Let's see how that works with influir. Influyo, influyes, influye. Influimos, influís, influyen. We used the regular IR endings, but we inserted a Y right before them in all of the forms except nosotros and vosotros. Here's another verb that follows this same pattern, huir. Again, we use the regular IR endings. Huyo, huyes, huye, huimos, huís, huyen. Since I'm a stickler about written accents, I'd like to point out that there is no accent on the vosotros form huís, even though there regularly would be with IR verbs. This is because the word is only one syllable long, making a written accent unnecessary. Here's a list of common verbs that end in huir. Make flashcards. This last group of verbs is similar to the huir verbs in that the change occurs in the boot forms. For verbs whose infinitive ends in UAR or IAR, we need to add a written accent on the vowel before the ending in the boot forms. Our first example is continuar. We use the regular AR endings and get continuo, continúas, continúa. continuamos, continuáis, continúan. If you listen carefully, you can hear that the stress in the boot forms falls on the U just before the ending. That is why we need the accent. The same thing happens to the I in confiar. Confío, confías, confía, confiamos, confiáis, confían. When you say these out loud, practice taking note of the stress in the boot forms while reminding yourself to write an accent. Here's a list of common verbs that end in IAR and UAR and thus follow the pattern on the previous slide. Don't forget to make flashcards. All right, take a moment now and use the Google form to check your understanding of irregular present tense verbs so far. You may either scan the QR code from a smartphone or click on the link to the form in the video description below. Please note that the form requires you to log in with your school email account. If you're looking for more practice, check out the resources linked in the video description. When you feel ready, move on to the fourth video on irregular verbs.